We are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace. Welcome back to the Geekcentric Podcast. My name is Nate, and in today's episode, we see justice achieved for Zack Snyder, a casting for a pair of pandemic survivors, and we're getting our vaccines with extra butter this summer. Also, we're discussing some shocking and shameful guilty pleasures in our topic of the show. But first, if you're joining us for the first time, this is a weekly show covering the world of film, television, gaming, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. Joining me on the show, as always, we have the justice-filled, Joker-loving judge of jaw-flapping jargon, Justin.
Hey!
I was expecting more of like a Joker thing there. I don't.
What was the line that he says? We live in a society.
That's perfect. And remade from the June 1985 original flop of a film, we have the new and improved Kevin Hudson's Hudstis League of Kevmerica, The Kevin Returns Part 2.
Wow, I'm speechless after that one. I had no idea where you were going with that. You started off calling me a box office flop, so...
You were. You very much were. But listen, this remake is looking very promising. How are you guys doing this night?
Doing well.
Good.
This night, I feel like, this night, how are you? And on that note, guys, what you been up to? Let's dive in. Kevin.
Well, recently, Sarah and I dove headfirst into Succession. We've had it recommended to us by a lot of people, so we finally pulled the trigger, and we're about halfway through season 2 already, so we are flying through that sucker, and it is
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard really good things.
Oh yeah, it's just like the most motley crew of people, just like the biggest assembly of people you hate I've ever seen in one sort of project, and it's so good. They're all so good at what they do. They bring like creepiness and just awful people, and it's amazing. I love watching them.
And is that doesn't take place in space, right? Does it?
No.
No,
okay. It's they're just a
No,
wealthy
it's here on
family.
Earth, Nate. It takes place on Earth.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, it's actually really, really good. I'd recommend it to anybody who wants. It's kind of like if the Trumps actually had money, what would they be like?
Oh my god! And we're even more entertaining to watch somehow.
Exactly.
And Kevin, how many seasons is that now?
They finished 2. I believe the 3rd season was actually supposed to come out last year, but obviously was pushed back. There's no date, but I have pretty much seen that it is coming out at some point this year. So
very cool.
Yeah, there's lots to look forward to over the next few months.
Justin, let's hear it. What's ya?
I haven't really done too much in the last week. The only thing I actually decided to rewatch is the Godzilla movies. So I watched Gareth Edwards' Godzilla 2014.
The only
really
good
enjoyed
one.
that.
Yeah.
Well, no,
It's
actually,
so
you know what, dude?
good.
It's great. It's fantastic. But I actually will give points to Godzilla 2, King of Monsters. Like it's actually it's a lot of fun. It's just fun. It's not it's kind of like the Fast and Furious, right? Like it knows what it is. It knows what it's trying to be. It's trying to be a huge monster movie of monsters fighting. They have a really great cast. Bobby Brown, Vera Farmiga, Kyle Chandler. Like he's such an underrated actor. Ken Watanabe comes back. You have O'Shea Jackson Jr., which is Ice Cube's son.
Yeah.
I don't know. They had a really good cast, and yes, it's kind of campy at times. It's a bit weird. So I don't know. This has a great cast. I had fun. I'm looking forward now to. I'm gonna watch Kong before.
You know what my problem with it is? Just it does have a great cast. And I think for a monster movie to be successful, it can't just be about monsters. You have to have people that are interesting and engaging to sort of carry the brunt of the story, because you're not going to get any of that from the monsters. And while the big fight scene at the end in Fenway Park and everything is done really well, the people are so stupid and unlikable, even with that cast. Now, did you watch Kong Skull Island as well?
Not yet. No, I'm
Okay.
going to watch that next. I should have probably watched that first, but I thought I would just do the Godzilla and then I'd move into it. But, they reference Kong and they're creating their universe, if you will. But yeah, to your point, that's what I loved about the first one is the sort of humility that was ingrained in a monster movie. And while you had the perspective of this monster trying to survive, you had people also trying to survive and a family trying to survive. I don't know how much more you could really go with that idea in a number 2. Like, it was bound for this to happen, for the universe to, or the world to expand, right? So, I think they did what they could with trying to give some humility, but it knew what it was meant to be. It was meant to be a monster movie, and it was pretty cool. It was awesome to watch Godzilla just go to town again on some of these monsters, man.
I just think that, again, and I said this when we talked about the what we're not looking forward to in 2021 or something, I just honestly, it's not going the way that, like, I guess I want it to, which, again, that relatability of the humanity of that first one was so well done. I think they could have stuck with it. I don't know if I would have gotten tired with it in the second one, but
all that to say, I am looking forward to seeing the next movie. Should be good.
Very cool.
Nate, what you been up to?
Yeah, I thought you would never ask. No, you know what? I watched something that I can't talk about that I'm going to save for our topic of the show. I watched a few more things though. I you know what? I had some time on my hands and I rewatched Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as I was building my Lego Hogwarts Express set, and that was a lot of fun. And I forgot just how young all that the cast was in that movie, but it's such a lovely little film, and I don't know, I'm probably gonna rewatch all of them now. Have you guys done a rewatch of that series lately?
I did that over the holidays, and I gotta say, like, the movies themselves they just get better as they get older, like as they, you know what I mean, like they're just so much fun. Like after I watch one, it's like, okay, we're done, we gotta do the whole thing now, right? Like,
yeah, and that's kind of how I feel now, and like I figure like this first one is something that I can build a Lego set to, but as soon as I get into the third one, probably I'm just gonna be like, nah, I gotta just pay all my attention right to Mr. Potter. Yeah, also more Superstore. I've gotten to the most up-to-date season, which is season 6, and it's strangely comforting to see all these characters like that I've connected with over the past 5 seasons. They're now confronting and dealing with retail life during the pandemic. So it really elevates the relatability even more. And I honestly don't think we've seen that much in many TV shows, even though it's stuff going into production. Have you guys seen many shows that are kind of doing the whole like the actual pandemic? They're wearing masks and stuff like that.
Well, one of the shows that I actually will come up in our topic of the show, has been doing it. It's far more recent. It's trying to deal with current times. I have heard some other shows like more of the primetime television stuff that's been doing it, that's been referencing it. But yeah, it is becoming a little bit more relevant to the TV stories.
Yeah, certainly. I've been watching Your Honor with Bryan Cranston, and there was an episode where he uses it to his advantage just to sort of pull some courtroom shenanigans. And so it was interesting to see that, be such a relevant topic.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's just interesting because it's like, again, normally we watch these shows to escape, but every now and then it's also kind of comforting to see that these characters are living through the same stuff that we're going through. So I just thought that was interesting.
And I think it'll be even more prevalent in shows coming out over the next few months that were maybe filmed, started before the pandemic, and maybe they've gotten back to it. They've maybe tweaked the story a little to include it, to make it feel, relevant and up to the minute or whatnot. So I'm sure we'll see it in a bunch of shows coming up.
Yeah, I hope so. Also, one more one I want to give a quick shout out to. I actually got a chance to watch the sequel to a pretty famous indie film. I watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom for the first time on Family Day. And I just want to say really quickly, Short Round is probably the best thing about that entire movie.
He's 100%
incredible.
The best part. Yeah.
He's so good. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. Ki Huy Kwan. He's in the Goonies as well, which I still have to watch, and I want to watch even more now because he's in it. But he's fantastic, and like, no offense to like Kate Capshaw, who plays
you didn't
Willie.
Like her screaming for 2 straight hours?
For the whole movie. Like, I was just like, get Marianne back in this movie. It would have, but honestly, like, think about it. Imagine the movie if it was just Indy and Short Round. Like, how sick would that be if it was just the two of them, like, hanging out, going on this adventure? Like, they didn't need to include this romantic thing in there, did they? It's funny because apparently it's not even Steven Spielberg's, like, it's his least favorite Indiana Jones film. He was quoted in 1989 saying, "I wasn't happy with the Temple of Doom at all. It was too dark, too subterranean, and much too horrific. I thought it out-poltergeisted Poltergeist. There's not an ounce of my own personal feeling in Temple of Doom." So he really doesn't like that movie.
It's my least favorite of the four, 100%.
Yeah.
You're about to watch my favorite, though. I can't wait for you to see that one.
I'm very stoked. But just really quick, I just wanted to just say my favorite line in the movie comes pretty early on in the movie. It's "Okie dokie, Dr. Jones. Hold on to your potatoes."
Is that where he's like driving the car after the nightclub?
And he's got like bricks strapped to his feet or something, or wooden blocks. So good, freaking amazing. But yeah, that is it for Whatcha. So let's get into the news. It's all about the details. Okay, so a little bit of news that I think we all kind of started to expect. If you've been on Twitter recently, or if you've been paying attention to any of the news surrounding our favorite show, The Mandalorian, or one of our favorite shows, The Mandalorian star Gina Carano fired amid social media controversy. This is from Aaron Couch from The Hollywood Reporter. Gina Carano will not be returning to The Mandalorian or the Star Wars galaxy after sharing a post on social media implying that being a Republican today is like being Jewish during the Holocaust. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future, which is what a Lucasfilm spokesperson said in a statement. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. According to sources, Lucasfilm planned to unveil Carano as the star of her own Disney Plus series during the December Investors Day, but scrapped those plans following her November tweets. So, guys, I mean, I know we've been kind of following this, and we've kind of, I know in earlier episodes we talked about this potentially happening. Now that it's happened, I mean, what do you guys think about this going forward?
She is her own worst enemy, right?
Yeah.
Like, she did it to herself, I think she knew what she was doing and what it would imply.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where you can't really be too upset because they did it to themselves. Like, it's unfortunate that she won't be in the series anymore, but I don't know. I'm glad Disney did something about it and, decided to, and was thinking about it obviously early on. I think it was just a matter of trying to figure out where to draw the line. And I think that tweet 100% is the line drawer. So,
yeah, I mean, I think this was 100% the right call by Disney. It was a disgusting thing to say, and if what she's referring to is, because I know she had posted some anti-mask stuff earlier last year and got backlash for it, and so if she's kind of suggesting that is the equivalent of being a Jewish person during the Holocaust, she's really got her priorities and just her way of thinking about life completely messed up. So, and honestly, I think she wasn't a super main character. I think the show can go on without her very easily. And her own standalone show wouldn't have been something I was like chomping at the bit for. And so I say good riddance.
Yeah. Bill Burr can lead it.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Justin.
Yeah, Bill Burr could 100% lead that show, lead that charge. Yeah,
I think that would be great. But I mean, I think, you see so many people, there was the hashtag, cancel Disney Plus going around and stuff like that, and Justin, you put out a great tweet with Wanda and Vision just turning their head and saying nope. I love that, but no, I think it's interesting because people are shouting out on Twitter like, okay, so freedom of speech is dead, and no, freedom of speech is not dead. Freedom from consequence of what you say that is going to happen,
Yes.
So you can't get away from that. And when you're the face of The Mandalorian, kids watch these shows. It's like, you can't just do that. Like, it's just crazy.
A lot of people were like, oh, well, why did James Gunn brought back. And I think the reality is that those are two different situations, right?
Absolutely.
Those are comments that were said 10 or 12 years with a different mindset prior to a exploitation of them through social media.
I think it really has to do with the intentionality of the person.
Yeah, he was just making bad jokes that he should never have made. She was suggesting something really bad.
With this situation, she's wholeheartedly believing in what she's saying, and it's not like tomorrow she's just going to be like, that was wrong of me, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? So I agree with Disney, I agree with Lucasfilm that she shouldn't have any part in the series. But moving on to some maybe more happy news. I don't know how to feel about this one. But Cineplex CEO says cinemas could help in a big way as potential vaccination sites. This comes from David Friend from the Canadian Press. Shout out to the Canadian Press. Got a Canadian news site here. The head of Cineplex Inc. is ready to turn Canada's multiplexes into temporary COVID-19 vaccination sites. Ellis Jacobs, CEO of the country's largest movie theater chain, says he's reached out to provincial public health agencies nationwide to suggest his company could help in a big way as a space for distributing shots. In Ontario, those talks have also involved Premier Doug Ford, Jacobs said Thursday in an interview. And while no decisions have been made, Jacob says health leaders seemed very interested and receptive to the idea. With Cineplex's locations largely closed across the country, the theater chain is looking for options as it grapples with a massive shutdown due to COVID-19 restrictions. Guys, would you feel comfortable with... Like, it wouldn't be Cineplex staff, right? Distributing these shots, Kevin?
No, clearly not. It would be
I hope not.
Trained personnel. Yeah. But I think they are kind of designed in such a way with, 50-foot tall ceilings. Mm-hmm. They're meant to, they can be designed to move crowds in a designated way to keep people spaced out. And if you had... just sort of, you almost just walk in through the front of the theater there in front of the seats where there's almost the aisle. You sit down, you get your shot, you come back out around, maybe grab a popcorn on your way out. I mean, I think it's win-win for everybody.
And does this isn't, when I first read this, I thought like, oh, okay, so you buy your movie tickets online, you book your COVID shot, you go in, you get your COVID shot, and then you go see the movie. But obviously, then I started thinking about it, and obviously it doesn't just instantly work. So I think this is, it's definitely a much more realistic idea than I originally anticipated.
Anything that can help with what will be a mass overload of people wanting this vaccine is welcomed. So if they're going to be able to leverage the numerous theaters across Canada and I'm guessing throw money their way,
right,
keep them afloat based on this.
Yeah, because they had a steep fourth quarter loss of $230.4 million as reported on Thursday. And so that's a huge... that's a company-ending loss at a certain point, right? So, yeah, to your point, if they can sell a bit of popcorn or some drinks during...
I think they'll get government compensation, and you can have lots of people, but also keep them safely distanced and everything. I just think it makes sense. So, good for Cineplex for stepping up and making it an option.
Yeah, very much so. And, I'm looking forward to see how it all rolls out. I'm hoping it happens sooner than later, and... if it means we get a coupon for free popcorn, let's go. But hopefully we don't see those buildings decrepit and torn down like we do in one of my favorite video game series, The Last of Us. Speaking of The Last of Us, our third news story comes from Joe Otterson. From Variety, who writes, The Last of Us HBO series casts Pedro Pascal as Joel and Game of Thrones breakout star Bella Ramsey as Ellie. Neil Druckmann, a writer and creative director for The Last of Us video game and co-creator of the series, confirmed the news about Pascal on Twitter, writing, and there's the other half. Stoked to have Pedro aboard our show. Pascal has seen great success as the star of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. He also recently appeared alongside Gal Gadot and Kristen Wiig in a not so great movie. And that's me, not the article. That's me. But and Ramsey is best known for her role as Lyanna Mormont in fellow HBO series Game of Thrones. Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin is attached to write and executive produce the series alongside Druckmann, which made me super happy to hear that he's involved in this, just because I think having the creative director of The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 on your show means that it's going to be a little bit more connected. I feel like, we've got that upcoming Uncharted movie coming out, and I feel like that's going to feel very disconnected, just because they aren't necessarily working with Naughty Dog on that. So
I agree with you. I think it creates a stronger connectivity between the property and what the new medium is that they're evolving it to.
Yeah.
But great casting. It's interesting to choose Pedro Pascal, right?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of already a
He's
version
done The
of
Last of
this
Us in
character.
space
He's
with
doing
Baby Yoda.
a Last of Us version in space.
Yeah.
Or he did, as did
Yeah.
Jaren. Totally different personality. But what will be interesting to see is how long his character goes for. It would be great to see the second season be primarily focused on Ellie, and especially choosing an actress like her.
Well, you bring up a good point, but I don't see this being just a 2-season. I think they can get more out of it if it's done well, and so you could see him stick around for several seasons at least. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right. Before
I don't know.
someone.
I feel like though these shows are kind of written in a way where there is some sort of an end. There's an end in sight either to a character or to the whole story. So whether it be a 3-season or a 4-season, there's rumors that Mandalorian is really only going to be a 5-season show, right?
Sure.
Is its plan.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And we've talked about with the new Disney Plus sort of stuff, this idea of that, does there need to be multiple seasons of certain shows? They're just going to exist for one-offs as like a certain sort of run. It's very different from that sort of conventional, obviously like the prime time heavy hitter shows that are just constantly on.
Well, yeah,
for multiple
especially
years.
when you have something that has source material that does sort of have a beginning, a middle, and an end, then you can structure it a bit more, whereas more traditional TV was just run it until the profit runs dry, right? And much to the detriment of the show generally in the long run.
But getting back to the casting though, I thought that Pedro Pascal makes a lot of sense. I think he's kind of an easy pick. Originally, all throughout the day, it was rumored that we were going to see Mahershala Ali step into the role as Joel, which would have been great. It would have been crazy, right? And I can almost hear his voice with some of the famous Joel lines. But I think Pedro Pascal might just be a little bit more of a safer choice. And then I also think Lyanna Mormont with Bella Ramsey. Is she now? My only fear is she too young?
That was what I was going to say. She strikes me as like a 9-year-old girl.
Right. So maybe this is going to be kind of a younger version of these characters than we're used to. But
how old is she? How is she now?
Let's find out.
Wow. She will actually be like 18 this year, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she just looks very, very young. But that could be addressed with, just the way you portray the character. She won't be surrounded by these big bulking men in suits of armor and stuff, and so it'll have a very different look and feel to it, I think, in a lot of ways.
And that almost plays really well into the idea of like a season 1 where she's younger, season 2 where she's, maybe a little bit older, and then maybe we move into the second, part 2 of the games, right?
Wasn't Ellie though, wasn't she 16 in Last of Us?
She's 14 in, I believe, the first game.
14 when the first game happened. Yeah, so I think I think that's actually now that you bring it up, I think it's perfect that she's in that role. So
and you want the character to be a badass, and she certainly has shown she can do that. So I think
100%.
And especially if we get to watch her become the badass, that'll be really cool.
Yes, I think that would be really awesome. And it's just kind of interesting that HBO just went with 2 Game of Thrones stars. They're just like, well, we already got them, so let's just keep. I'm super stoked for this show. I think if anything, again, because it's HBO, it's in great hands, but I think it's in even better hands because, as I said, Druckmann is going to be taking part. So that is it for some of the news that we had missed and we just had to talk about. And then there's one more thing that we just have to talk about that came out on Valentine's Day. So guys, let's get into trailer time.
It's trailer time.
All right, guys. So we finally got here. It's been how many years since 2017 November that we've been waiting for this moment to occur. We got the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, isn't this like the 5th trailer or 4th teaser? Like, this isn't the first we're seeing.
No,
of
this isn't the very first glimpse, but this is the first like sort of full trailer. This movie is directed by Zack Snyder. It's going to be starring Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Ray Fisher, Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller, and we live in a society, Jared Leto. Guys, what did you guys think about this oddly aspect ratio trailer? Like, what?
Yeah,
I don't get it at all.
I don't understand. I really hope the movie isn't square.
I think it might be.
I don't know. It's going to be weird if it is. It'll people will hate it right off the bat if the whole movie's square. 4 hours?
I think it's meant to replicate comic book panels, which are traditionally like more of a square look, right? And I think it's because there might be a lot more verticality in like a superhero film. But it feels like a lot. Like, it feels like this is Zack Snyder snidering as hard as Zack can Snyder.
No, I feel like it's well, I guess we will wait and see on March 18th, but
sure.
I think it's going to be full aspect ratio. I don't think it's going to be square. It's just weird that the marketing is keeping it like that. Maybe because it is, in a way, like a hidden project, or I don't know, keeping it in a box.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, I think the trailer itself. I think we were talking about this last time. It's like it's hard to watch this trailer and see what's different and what's new, unless you've have that movie ingrained. Now, obviously the newest piece is the end part of this trailer with Ben Affleck and the Joker, which in all seriousness, I would love to see something come from that. I would love to see them still do a Batman Joker story with those two characters. Just do that. Just
even while they're doing their
that.
Own other Batman.
Exactly.
Oh,
I would love to. Yeah.
I'd hate it.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about multiverses in the past, and I think the way the MCU is going and approaching multiverses intentionally, whereas I feel like DC is kind of unintentionally fallen into this and having to fix things and saying it's a multiverse.
But I still would love to see a movie with Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker.
Sure.
Come on. You'd want to see it like a one-off. Like, what if it was a TV series?
But that's a pipe dream. That's a I wish, I want. If we're going to talk specifically about this trailer, that literally could have been 2 minutes and 15 seconds of entirely brand new footage, and I wouldn't know. It's just watching it. It's like, but I've seen this movie already, so it's just hard to get overly excited for it.
I've never seen the original one, but like, to me, it feels like an unearned Avengers Endgame movie. Like, it feels like it's unearned, and they went to it too quickly. Like, it's showing me all these characters. For at least for these versions, I just don't have any investment in them.
Yeah,
right. And so I'm watching this like epic moments happening. I'm like, it doesn't feel epic because
Yeah, and then to even go further on that, then they had 4 years between it coming out the first time and this time. And what do we get? A prequel for a character we already had a prequel, sort like it was a sequel, but it's still a prequel to this movie in Wonder Woman 84. Yeah. You get a meh Aquaman, and then that's it. They didn't get the Flash movie out. They didn't do anything with Cyborg. Like, they haven't done anything with these characters to, again, justify that big coming together sort of event that this movie's supposed to be.
I don't know. To give it a fair shake, I need to know, guys, do I need to watch Batman v Superman and Aquaman, the ones that I haven't watched?
I'd suggest
do I really need to?
You might as well. Especially Batman Superman, no?
Okay.
Batman Superman only.
But at least this way you get Aquaman, so now you know where he comes from.
That's what I mean. Yeah, maybe I'll feel more invested in him. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna watch the Zack Snyder films. So I'll watch Man of Steel. I'll watch Batman versus Superman. I'll watch Justice League, and then I'll watch Justice League, Snyder Cut.
All right.
So I'll just do it. I already did it. The funny thing is I hate these goddamn movies. And I already did this like in October or something.
You hate watch them.
I hate watch them. No, 100%. Yeah. I hate watch them only because it's just like they're so frustrating. But yeah, that scene at the end with the Joker and Batman, that was at least they had that.
Well, as long as the movie is better, I think that's all we can hope for. Is that it's a better movie. I just don't understand how they can do that with 4 hours of content. That's the part that scares me the most. If it had a normal running time, I would be like, there's a chance this could be great.
Well, yeah, and of the many complaints I had about the original version of the movie, one of them was not, damn it, that movie was way too short.
Right.
You know? I want it to be twice as long.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see.
You know
we'll
what?
See.
This has been talked about for 4 bloody years. I'm so glad that in a month we'll just be able to watch it and then probably never talk about it again.
So, guys, that is it for trailer time. Guys, we're getting through here. Let's get to our topic of the show. It's time for the topic of the show. All right, so for today's topic of the show, we're putting it all out there. We're pretty ashamed of ourselves for enjoying some of these movies and shows, but for you, our listeners, we wanted to get these embarrassing and unexpected guilty pleasures off our chests. So we're going to go round table and rank our top 3 guilty pleasures, whether they're a movie or a TV show. I'll go ahead and start if that's okay with you guys. I just really need to get this off my chest.
Oh, do it.
Your chest is booming right now.
I'm drowning right now. I'm drowning right now because of this film that I really enjoy. Originally this movie was released in 1999. And it got a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 39% audience score. So this is a freaking gem of a film. And it totally is not ripping off a Steven Spielberg classic. It stars Stellan Skarsgård, Michael Rappaport, Jacqueline McKenzie, Saffron Burrows, and Thomas Jane, and of course, LL Cool J and mother effing Samuel L. Jackson. I'm talking about my favorite shark movie ever, Deep Blue Sea.
Nice. Nice.
Guys, I mean, this movie, it's a blast, right? Like, okay, so the way that everyone gets trapped in a lab where they have to cure Alzheimer's by stealing brains from super sharks. I mean, it's basically Jurassic Park underwater. It even has Samuel L. Jackson in it, and arguably the best death scene that he's ever done.
It was certainly one of the most unexpected death scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like I saw this in theaters and still remember the theater and the audible gasp from everybody when that shark comes out with some of the worst CGI ever and sort of grabs them and pulls them in.
This was like around the time of like Anaconda or like Lake Placid, like these movies were in and around then. So
creature features were definitely big at the time.
Yeah, I think it's still like actiony enough that it doesn't become boring at any time. Like, even though I will say the speech and the dialogue is very slow at times, like where the characters, you'll just be like, okay, just get through the line. Get through the line. Especially when LL Cool J is just talking to his parrot.
I was going to say, the chef, LL Cool J is the chef with his bird, was like my favorite character.
He's like isn't he? Well, he's a chef, but he's also like a pastor at one point.
Yeah, he's a very religious guy, right?
Yeah. So I love the oddly placed Christian undertones in the movie, the terrible CGI, the slow dialogue,
he's quoting
Sam Jackson's
Bible scripture,
speech.
hunting out these sharks. It's great stuff,
right? And then I think he swears in the middle of a prayer. It's unbelievable. It's the Fast and Furious of shark movies, and it's better than Jaws in my opinion.
Wow,
I'm just kidding. I've never seen Jaws. I've never seen Jaws. But guys, that is my number 3 movie that I am just so ashamed of.
Well, very nice. I mean, I'll jump in here because you mentioned something about religion.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And that plays into my choice for number 3. Anybody who knows me on a very personal level knows sort of how I feel from a theological standpoint, which would make my absolute obsession with this movie growing up seem a little bit odd. Released in 1993, the sequel to a far more successful original movie. I'm talking about Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
What? Let's go, Kevin!
I absolutely loved this movie as a kid. I owned the soundtrack on the CD. I would still sing it when I was 18 years old driving around.
Absolutely.
It was the one CD in my big binder of CDs that you used to have at the time that people would flip through and go, wait a minute, what is this that you have here? I know the words to every single song from that soundtrack to this day. I always love a kids needing to come together and go to a competition, that kind of movie, you know what I mean? Usually in the sports forum, you know, your Mighty Ducks and that sort of thing. But to have a group of inner city kids find their joint passion in music, led by the always affable Whoopi Goldberg. It was just such a fun, wonderful movie that I've probably seen more times than I should admit. So that definitely starts me off here on a guilty pleasure.
Dude, I don't feel guilty about that at all. I mean, this was on my short list for best feel-good film for me. Like, I freaking love that movie. And Lauryn Hill is just
she's really, really good. I thought it should have been a star-making sort of performance, and she went and focused far more on music than acting. But But you know, when the quiet meat kid busts out "Oh Happy Day,"
yes,
like so
and
good.
the falsetto that he hits, that high note?
That note, still like tingles every time that scene happens.
So fantastic, Well, I'm glad it's your number 3, Kevin, because if you had put this as your 2 or 1, I would have had to hit you in the face because this movie and I would have hit you like and said some sort of quip that Whoopi said. But yes, I really that's awesome, sweet, great choice, Justin. What is your number 3? Movie that you are that's your guilty pleasure?
Okay, so maybe a little bit of clarification for what this guilty pleasure is. This is not actually pertained to one thing. This is a style, this is a genre, this is something is a guilty pleasure that I like to enjoy. It is of the television kind. It is of the reality TV show kind. And I am talking about all the delicious shows to come from HGTV. I am the biggest fan of shows like The Fixer Upper, Flip or Flop, Hometown, House Hunters, pretty good. Rehab Addict I've gotten into, but I really like Good Bones. Good Bones is great. Me and my wife love that one. Love It or List It. Gotta love that one too. I love all of these shows.
What about Property Brothers? You get into Property Brothers?
Of course, yeah.
Property Brothers. The Property Brothers. Those two wieners.
I love them. They're great.
They just think they're so
great.
funny, and they're just a bunch of clowns.
They're not very funny.
Hey, and they're very successful. They're in the States. I think one of them is dating Zoe Deschanel.
Oh wow!
So
good for them.
So I don't know. I'm a big fan of like that sort of stuff in the design style, and that kind of ties in with something later. But I love all these shows. I will, if I can't find anything that I actually want to stream or watch, I'll just sit down and I will pop on something from HGTV.
HGTV reminds me, as far as titles on HGTV, it reminds me of like the Taco Bell of TV shows. You could take any of those words from any of those titles and mix them up, and it won't matter. My Flipped Dream House, Dream Flip House, Celebrity Dream House. Like
I'm definitely a fan of those. Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna is my favorite. I love Chip. He just seems like the coolest guy you'd want to ever have a beer with and do a renovation project with, because he just seems like a really fun, affable guy. But I call those shows my vacation shows, because whenever I go on a vacation, and I very much got this from my mother, but the first thing you do, you get into the hotel room, you put your suitcase down, you slap on the TV so you've got some background noise, and it's always, boom, HGTV. Let's go, right in the background,
Yeah. One other thing real quick, though, another sub-genre, if you will. Now, this is of the film kind that I truly, truly love to enjoy on a regular basis. I've actually talked to you guys about some of her films, and that is anything from Nancy Meyers.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Nancy Meyers is an American filmmaker. She is known for doing a lot of rom-com, very traditional sort of, if you will, romantic comedy styles.
Oh, wow.
Early 90s into the 2000s. She's still around. Easily one of my favorites, Father of the Bride 1 and 2, What Women Want, Parent Trap, hello.
I mean, you talked about The Holiday on one of our episodes before, I'm sure.
No.
No?
I'm not a fan of that one. I love Something's Gotta Give, obviously. Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. I feel like the reason why I would say that these are guilty pleasures is not necessarily that I'm embarrassed by them or that they're viewed bad or negatively. I think most people within the wheelhouse of what we do in terms of geek culture and pop culture might be surprised that I like to, sit down and watch a Nancy Meyers movie, throw on some Father of the Bride. Let's do it.
I hear you, and I was very tempted to put one of the movies from her filmography on my list, and you can almost consider it my guilty pleasure of her movies. and that is The Intern with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
Oh,
I've probably watched that 5 times. If it's on TV and I'm flipping through on a Sunday afternoon, I don't care where it is, I'm slapping it on and watching it. I love that movie.
Okay.
I'm also a big fan of Baby Boom. I remember watching that with my mom and being like, what is this dumb... I thought it was like a Lifetime movie. And then I just sat down and I couldn't stop watching it. Yeah.
And that's kind of it. Like she does these sort of, Lifetime kind of movies, right? But they're still enjoyable and entertaining. So yeah, she knows how to have fun with her stories. So
yeah, they're simple. You don't have to think too hard. You just sit back, relax, and have a smile on your face, basically.
Obviously, though, these might be a little bit more category based. I promise for my next 2, they are singular focus.
Good to know. Yeah. I'm like, always leave it up to Justin to just
that's okay. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon with a category for my second choice, so don't you worry.
Oh, there you go. Cool. All right, well, here, let me get into my second choice here. Justin, you kind of talked about HGTV, reality television. My second choice here is something that it's a guilty pleasure of mine, definitely. And unfortunately for the cast on the show, not as much pleasure going on. Of course, I'm talking about the was it 20? Did it come out in 2020 or 2019? I think it's 2020. 2020 hit Too Hot to Handle on Netflix. This is a reality show with incredibly attractive people trying to fall in love while abstaining from, let's just say, any sort of physical contact. And the less physical contact, the more money they all win at the end of the show.
Wow.
So if any of them get down, then the whole pool of money goes down.
That's really
right?
interesting. That's actually really interesting because depending on what reality show you're watching, they all have the same sort of shtick that everyone hooks up. Like my wife watches The Challenge. It's an MTV Survivor base. The Miz is on it. I'm sure Kevin knows. But anyways, it's actually kind of fun. Some of the challenges, very gladiator-esque and whatnot. But there's always these like people that are hooking up and then doing these challenges and then being teammates and then backstabbing each other, and it creates all this drama. So to see a show like this that would actually challenge the idea, hey, don't touch each other or do anything. And
but I bet you at the same time they're still doing all the things that they do on all those other shows where they funnel them with booze.
Yep.
Set them up in situations just so that they will hook up to make good TV. But here they have to try and abstain from it. That is quite the challenge.
And the best part is, like, you know how The Bachelor has Chris Harrison, right? Well, this show just has, it's like an Alexa device, but it's called Lana, Lana. And according to the show's producers, the name for Lana was inspired by what it spells backwards. I'll let you guys figure that one out. I started watching this show ironically, and then I just couldn't stop watching. The level of drama and overproduced false narratives they set up on the show are fantastic, and I love how the contestants pretend to actually learn moral lessons throughout near the end of the show, and it's like, I've really grown, and it's amazing to see how much we've grown. And just no, you didn't grow at all. You're still all just a bunch of very attractive but also terrible people. So I love it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to if they do another season. But I thought it was just a really original idea for a dating show. But I think dating shows, Justin, I'll kind of hop onto your whole thing. Dating shows in general are just pretty entertaining no matter what. It's always the idea of you're watching but you can't look away. Even
for example of my wife watching The Challenge, I'm like, oh my God, what are you watching? Right?
Yeah.
What is this? And then suddenly I'm into it. I'm like, no. Let's play the next episode. I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, you're sucked in.
That's it. So, I mean, the contestants definitely weren't sucked in on this show, but that is Too Hot to Handle. Kevin, let's hear your number 2.
All right. Number 2, again, it's a little bit broader than just a specific, say, movie or show. It's a whole enterprise on its own, if you will. But it's been an enormous part of my life, for better or worse, for over 20 years. I look back to an 11-year-old me sitting on the couch one afternoon, and this promotion, this advertisement came on for a pay-per-view, and they used to be friends, but now they're enemies. And it was from WWF, and it was with Shawn Michaels and his old friend Diesel. And the pay-per-view that evening was Good Friends, Better Enemy. And the 2-minute little promotion they did hooked me in so very much that I ordered my very first wrestling pay-per-view that night. The rest was history. I spent the next 6 months that summer basically going to the old local video store, Movies and Tunes, and renting every single WWS VHS tape they had, probably 10 or 12 years worth of old pay-per-views. And I would rent 2 or 3 of them on a Saturday, walk back down on Sunday morning, rent 2 or 3 more of them, and just an entire summer was spent falling in love with a passion that would see me travel across the United States with my younger brother. We went to 13 WrestleMania events together over almost 20 years, 15 years or so. I met some really, really great friends that ended up, becoming some of my best friends that were actually at my wedding this year or last year. And so, beyond the silly soap opera goofiness that it is, it did really enrich my life in a lot of other ways. But they call it the male soap opera, and especially at the time I fell in love with it. It was tailored after the Jerry Springer show of just scantily clad women and dudes flipping their boss off and hitting each other with chairs. I could go on for hours about why the athleticism and the storytelling and everything is really quite fantastic. But at the end of the day, it's pretend fighting and no shortage of goofiness and silliness. While I don't necessarily watch it anymore, I still follow the product enough to keep up on some of the guys I watched growing up. It will always hold a very special, near and dear place in my heart, even though, when somebody finds that out about me, if they're not a fan of wrestling, it's like, really? Wrestling?
Yeah.
And I think it'll always sort of have that stigma, but I'll always defend it to the end.
Yeah, I'm looking at the VHS box art for WWF In Your House #7, Good Friends, Better Enemies. It's like the most, like, I don't know, like, is this from the 80s or the 90s?
It's like mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
That's pure
So
96.
Well, Kevin, if it ever becomes safe again to go to a WrestleMania event, sign me up. I want to go with you. I want to feel the energy.
Honestly,
I want to drink the drinks.
Once, it would be a lot of fun. It would be.
You have to cosplay though. You have to cosplay.
Oh, I'm down. I'll take my shirt off the whole time.
I want you to go for like Legion of Doom.
Amazing.
Sweet.
I'm down. I don't know what that means, but I'm in.
You and Kevin as Legion of Doom, that would be awesome.
Be epic, yeah.
Very cool.
Or we could go as Hurricane and Typhoon. There's some.
I'll be Typhoon.
There we go.
Justin, what is your number 2 guilty pleasure, my guy?
Well, while we're on the topic of soap operas, I feel like this one's very fitting. It's kind of a primetime soap opera. It has been around since 2005, guys.
Okay.
17 seasons of this show. You can find it on Netflix. It is written, produced, developed, pretty much birthed by this, I guess you could call her a TV drama alum, and that is Shonda Rhimes. This stars Ellen Pompeo, Justin Chambers, actually not Justin Chambers anymore, James Picken Jr. I am talking about Grey's Anatomy.
I can't believe there are 17 seasons.
What?
17 seasons, yeah. It's still going strong. And this is the thing. Again, this is why I preface that my selection isn't necessarily things that are bad or I'm ashamed of. This has an 84% average Rotten Tomato.
I guess.
77% average audience score.
Dog, you should be embarrassed.
Yeah.
No, but it's a great show. They have a great cast. They've obviously lasted 17 seasons. And what's great is even now during COVID times, as the show's going on, they're telling stories about what it's like being in the medical field during these times. So, they're still staying relevant. So it's really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's a good show. It's enjoyable.
Color me mixed surprised. I had no idea you were a fan.
Listen, we're breaking new ground with this episode, Kevin. This is us airing out and making sure people are aware. And I know that your next one is going to be, your love of Lin-Manuel Miranda. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and talk about my number 1. I watched it today, just before we started recording. I finished watching it with a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And this is the part that really is the kicker here, only a 28% audience score. The guilty pleasure I'm most ashamed to admit I really, really enjoy is a 1999 classic, another 1999 classic, brought to you by the same guy who directed Men in Black, starring one of the same actors from Men in Black. It's a classic tale of secret agents going undercover to save the president from an ex-Confederate handicapped maniac who rides around in a giant mechanized spider. That's right, I'm talking about Wicked Wild Wild West. I honestly think it shares some of the same classic humor as any Martin Short kind of movie out there, even a Jim Carrey kind of movie to a certain degree. I think Will Smith is incredibly charming. I think Kevin Kline is awesome. Kevin Branagh is my favorite part. He
is the bomb. Well, yeah,
I
that's
love
that Southern voice. Yeah,
I love it. I love his voice. I love everything they did with it. And my favorite part, definitely, is the fact that we got Tenet supervillain Kenneth Branagh, and I don't know. As much as the movie's plot may not make a lot of sense, it's easier to follow than Tenet. So there you go. Take that, Nolan.
It's entertaining.
I liked it.
Yeah, I think we saw that twice in theaters.
At least the once, though. Yeah, but
when I was 9 years old watching this movie, I loved the inventive gadgets and the crude humor. And I'm gonna go on record as saying that I'm actually so happy that Will Smith turned down The Matrix to do this movie. I'm just saying. Think about it. There's an alternate universe out there where Will Smith is Neo and Keanu Reeves didn't get this, he's not a big star or anything like that. And also Wild Wild West doesn't exist. So do you guys want that universe? Because I don't think you do, right?
I think it worked out well that we got, Keanu in the right role. And then,
there you go.
This goofy little movie, yeah.
But guys, I mean, listen, somewhere out there, there's also a universe where they made a Wild Wild Wilder West, and I want to travel to that multiverse because that sounds incredible. But that is my number one guilty pleasure movie. Again, I watched it today. It's so good. It's so good. Kevin, what is your number one guilty pleasure?
Ask me about my wiener. If you recognize that line, then in 2006 you saw a fun little comedy that takes a new look, a refreshing new look, if you will, at university life. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Long starring in Accepted. Basically, he doesn't get into any of the universities of his choices, so he just invents one of his own. Movie starts a very young and up-and-coming Jonah Hill. It's got Louis Black, who's one of my favorite comedians of all time, in a role that was literally made for him. He was born to play the curmudgeon-y old, crackpot who comes in to sort of be the dean of this fake school. Honestly, I don't know what it is about the movie. Maybe the idea of actually going to a school where you could just learn whatever the heck you want, because that's what learning should be. I love sort of the principles about how education should be looked at. But let's not kid ourselves here. This was not a very good movie. But if I wasn't so ashamed, it would make a top 5 all-time favorite movies list for me every single time. I absolutely love it. I've seen it over 20 times. I don't know what it is about it. There's just something charming about it that I absolutely love it, even though it's a terrible movie. It's got 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Really not, it was not received well, but boy, oh boy, was it a lot of fun.
Wow. It's kind of like an American Pie sort of thing, or is it not as sexualized? That
sort of humor. Yeah, it's far less sexualized than that one.
Okay,
but it was definitely around the same time. But yeah, it's a pretty lousy movie that I just love.
Well, I will accept it. Maybe I'll see it one day.
Yeah, check it out. It's fun. It's an easy hour and a half.
Very cool. All right, well,
and plus then you'd understand the context of ask me about my wiener.
Love it. Justin, I'm not going to ask you about your wiener, but I am going to ask you for your number one guilty pleasure.
All right, my number one guilty pleasure. Okay, this movie was released in 2006. It actually has quite the star-studded cast. I actually think one of the people won an Oscar for it. So it's not necessarily a disliked movie. It's actually got a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
The cast is Simon Baker, Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt, Anne Hathaway, and your star, Meryl Streep. I am talking about The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, nice.
I love this movie, man.
Really?
I love so many things about this movie. I like the sort of, fish out of water, ugly duckling sort of theme to the story. I love how she finds her way into the fashion world. Not many people know this, but like I went to school for visual arts and film and specialized in photography, and I had a huge passion and interest for like high fashion photography and doing editorial style. Like I always wanted to actually be like a editorial photographer for like Vogue or Vanity Fair or something like that.
I had no idea.
So I've always had like a huge interest. So like this to me was like such a fun look into that world.
And when you have an amazing cast led by Meryl Streep, this movie is just great. I guess fun would be the word that I would use. But I don't know. I've watched it so many times. It's a feel good movie. Like I think you feel good after you watch this movie. And you see some of these characters come to their own.
But yeah, anyways, Devil Wears Prada, love it. I've actually recently watched this twice.
I've actually never seen it.
You've never seen The Devil Wears Prada?
I've never seen The Devil Wears Prada. Should that have been on my list of movies I'm embarrassed to have not seen?
I think I've seen half of The Devil Wears Prada.
Ah, man.
I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
It's so good. The book, Angie loves the book. I don't know. It's just,
all right.
I love it.
It's all good, dude. Anne Hathaway fan number 1 here. That's awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed listening to us sort of get these guilty pleasures. We've been feeling so guilty about them for so long.
Some for decades. Decades of agony.
Decades. Closeted, wrestling fans. We got closeted HGTV fans, and of course, my love of Will Smith dressed like a stripper cowboy. We got to talk about it. We got to get these things off our chest. Also, we want to know, what are some of your guilty pleasures? Should we have been so guilty about our pleasures that we enjoy?
Yeah, who should be more embarrassed out of the three of us about what we enjoy?
Yeah, I think it's Justin.
Know.
I think it's Justin. But let us know. Of course, Justin, where can they flip the house and let you know?
They can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com.
Oh, I like that. I like the delivery there. But guys, that is another episode in the bag. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts, because we are Geekcentric, and you can be too, which means you can also check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Geekcentric. Follow us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT. Justin's banging out some fantastic tweets over there. I always ask him, can I get the password for the Twitter? I want to tweet. He's like, no, you're not. You can't. No. So, you know what? I'll leave it up to him. He's great at it. You can also follow us on Instagram at We Are Geekcentric on Instagram. Also, you can catch me stream every Thursday and Sunday night over at twitch.tv/NatePlaysGames. Right now, I'm playing a healthy mix of a game called Cyber Shadow, as well as some Super Mario 3D World with some friends. So, being a multiplayer Mario game at that, it's a lot of fun, and we're just getting more and more guests on the stream. So if you like that, we're also going to be playing some Fall Guys, some Among Us, and of course whatever big game comes out at the time. So stop by, say hello, and we can be Geekcentric over there as well. Justin, Kevin, thank you so much for joining me for today's shameful episode. And as we say, love ya.
Ask me about my... No, sorry. Stay home safe, guys.
Peace.